Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my dear students and worthy colleagues. As you know very well that in 2024, English language syllabus of 1123 was completely changed. It was a challenging time for the teachers as well as students. Luckily, with the collaboration of many teachers and competent students, resources were developed. But the most awaited resource was the examiner report of 2024 summer paper, which has been recently shared with the teachers as well as with the students. Unfortunately, many students and teachers don't give it too much weightage. They think that what is the significance of examiner reports? Unbelieve you me that I, in my teaching career of 20 years, I have been sharing at least three examiner reports with my students, and it has turned out to be extremely beneficial for the improvement, not only improvement but also the achievement of excellent results in the form of A's and A stars. So I have decided to share with you the examiner report of summer 24. This is an extremely worthy document. And the purpose of examiner reports, I want to share with you that they are basically the messages of Cambridge for the teachers as well as students. And the message in these reports is that what were the mistakes of weak candidates, what did the average students do in the paper, and what are the tips and techniques which the excellent students followed. And at the same time, they also give suggestions for the improvement and preparation of coming exams. Now you can imagine that how worthy this document will be. I personally recommend to all the teachers as well as students that they should read this worthy document. And to the benefit of all my attendees, to all my viewers, I have not only read it, but I have, you can say, made it in the form of a short document which will be catchy, which will be attractive, which will be highly useful. So please stay tuned and listen to the video till the end, because this contains tips and techniques how to achieve best result in the next exam, and they have given instruction for the improvement of each and every part of the paper. So this is a must read document for achieving A stars. Now, I will be sharing the key messages of paper 2 first. First of all, we will be reading the key messages of paper 2, which is the writing paper. What does the examiner say? Candidates should pay close attention to the required format. This is with regard to the directed writing question. Normally, the teachers and the students think that requirement of format is not an important thing. And but what they have suggested, what the examiners of Cambridge have suggested, that they should ensure that the candidates should show awareness of the format throughout their response. Not that you just write the heading of the magazine article and you do not follow the requirements of magazine article in the body of magazine article. In the same way, not that you just give the heading or the format of formal letter in the form of addresses or dear sir, but in the body of the letter you tend to deviate from the format. So the important tip that they have shared is that you should be well aware of the requirement of the format, and you should show this awareness throughout your response through the body of that text type, and adopt a suitable tone and register for the given audience and purpose. You remember all those students who have watched my videos on directed writing. These were the key terms to which I brought your attention. The formula of VARPF: V for voice, A for audience, P for purpose, F for format, R for register, T for tone. So these are the basic requisites which the Cambridge examiners have also recommended for the improvement of writing paper. Second important thing, candidates should ensure that they use features appropriate to the type of writing selected and be mindful of organizing their writing for deliberate effect. What does this mean? That if, for example, you are attempting narrative essay, you should be well aware of the features of narrative essay And you should organize your writing in order to achieve the desired effect, deliberate effect. In the same way, if you are attempting speech, you should be aware of the features of speech. Features means the qualities that that type of writing has in it. Next point, candidates should maintain a focus on description. This is meant for the improvement of descriptive essay. That you maintain a focus on description and you don't start telling a story while writing descriptive essay. And you must avoid slipping into narrative. Those areas of the slide which I have put in red color, they are meant to help you give the red sign, alert sign that avoid this thing. And whereas the green color indicates the go sign, it means that these instructions you should be following. And you should consider using present tense to make description more immediate and immersive. Now you must remember that narrative essay is written in past tense, whereas descriptive essay is written in the present tense. Why in the present tense? Because the purpose is to make the description more immediate in order to create direct impact and immediate impact upon the receiver and upon the audience. So you see, these were the key messages. We are going to read some more key messages regarding paper 2. They have given instructions regarding the improvement of directed writing, the significance of format, audience, purpose, register. Then they talked about the features of narrative essay. I will be talking about them in more detail. Then the features of descriptive essay and not mixing and developing descriptions into narrations. Avoid slipping into narratives. Now, the key messages are being continued, so please keep attentive. Candidates should ensure plots are fully developed and using a narrative structure. Now, what is a narrative structure, which I have explained in my video on narrative essay, that there should be an introduction, then there should be rising action, then there should be the climax, then obviously there should be falling action and resolution or conclusion or winding up of events. And plots, play an important role in narrative essay. So examiner is making us note these points down very carefully. And these notes I have not written in my own words. Majority of them are picked in the form of key sentences from the original examiner report, because the original document obviously is very lengthy and reading that will be rather too difficult for some students. But listening to the video, I hope, will be time consuming. At the same time, it will be beneficial for you. The next point is that the candidate should manage their time carefully during the exam to ensure that they have sufficient time for each question. Now you see that there are only 2 questions in one paper of directed writing or composition. So you have to manage your time equally between the 2 questions because the questions require 1 hour each. The next instruction by the Cambridge examiner in the examiner report is that check your tenses, that they are consistent and that you are not moving to and fro between past and present, and that the accuracy of spellings and punctuation is there. Candidates are encouraged to proofread their work for meaning and accuracy. That what are you trying to say contextually and what is the accuracy of language. Now you see 90% students ignore this direction despite repeated instructions by the teachers during the class practice. Please follow this advice very carefully because Cambridge examiners have given this message not only to the teachers but also to the students. Candidates are advised to adhere to the suggested word count for each section. Now, this is a question which many students ask, that how much can we deviate? How much can we exceed? This is the most repeated question which I hear from my students. My question from them is that why do you think of deviating? Why do you think of exceeding? Why don't you plan to follow the instruction of the examiner? Because the best score, the best result is awarded to the candidate who follows rubric. And the rubric, when it says that write between 350 to 450, then please don't exceed. Here the clear-cut instruction is that adhere to the suggested word count. Now this is a suggestion. It means that slightly you can deviate, but excessively you must not be deviating. For example, if it requires you to write 450, you can go up to 470, maximum 480, because the more you will write, the more mistakes you will make. And you don't just have to write, you have to plan, you have to edit, and you have to proofread your work in order to achieve best score. Now, as far as the instructions of Cambridge examiners regarding planning and handwriting, now these instructions, honestly, I'm repeating it again and again, that they are not written by me. I have taken them from the examiner report, so you people are bound to take them very seriously. Candidates should ensure that their handwriting is legible. Many students think that in Cambridge exams, handwriting is not important. So, this is what they have to read, and that where some mistake is crossed out, a line should be drawn through it neatly. When there is some mistake, to draw a line through that word instead of putting too many crosses on it, instead of just ignoring it or putting crosses. That can also be done, that you put a cross at the start of that word and a cross at the end of that word and then put that word in bracket. But the best recommendation which the examiners have given is that make a line through it neatly. This is what they have written. Next instruction is that candidates should be encouraged to plan their responses using, for example, bullet points or mind map. Planning, I have shown you the essay which was awarded full mark by the Cambridge examiner. And in that essay, the student had done very clear cut, neat planning on the neat paper rather than writing and then rewriting the whole response. It means the examiners have seen that the students wrote and then even rewrote the whole response. So they say, in order to save your time, in order to create a positive impression, what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to plan. Now, they have given us the instruction as to how and what best responses included. The best responses demonstrated highly accurate writing and a very good understanding of the purpose of each question. Number one, writing means not handwriting, but the linguistic qualities as far as vocabulary and sentence structure and SPG are concerned. And then they should be aware of the purpose of the task. That is your purpose to entertain, is your purpose to inform, is your purpose to make an authentic information. What is the purpose? Those students who will work upon the formula of FAPVTR, they will understand the purpose of the task, they will score best result. Tenses and agreement are the main challenge in grammar for many. What is agreement? Subject and verb agreement. When we say they have done their work, they has is wrong. When we say he goes to school, he go to school is wrong. When we say mobile phones are a wastage of time, when we say mobile phones can be used to the benefit of the students, yeah, are used to the benefit of students. And then tenses, the requirement with regard to tenses is that they should be consistent in grammar for many. Other common language errors include confusion between homophones. For example, the spellings of THERE and the spellings of THEIR. Innumerable homophones and innumerable spelling mistakes our students invent because orally they know, but in written form, in haste and in confusion, they make mistake and then they don't even proofread. Then inaccurate capitalization, making capital letter at a place where it is not required, and a lack of full stops and commas to punctuate sentences. Now, my dear students, what is left now for you to understand? Each and every point, each and every aspect of the improvement of paper 2 writing has been mentioned in this examiner report, and I have given them to you in such form that everything is visible, attractive, and clear. Now, the only thing is that you have to follow these instructions. The requirements for Cambridge with regard to the directed writing question. Now, let's look at the instruction regarding directed writing improvement. Conventions of a formal letter include an appropriate salutation and valediction. meaning that there should be proper start and there should be proper closing. Why they mentioned formal letter? Because in S24, formal letter was the question which was asked. Maybe it was some other paper, but they have mentioned specially formal letter. In order to achieve marks in the higher levels, a wide range of ideas from the text must be considered. Meaning you must not be focusing on one text or one paragraph. No, you have to read both the text. You have to pick up ideas from the whole of the text and spread them in such a way, in such a logical way, in such an organized way that you are creating the impression upon the examiner that you have read them thoroughly. Consideration of ideas from both texts is a requirement of the question. You see, very clearly they have written it. Now, what is the difference between development and evaluation? Now, the examiners have given this as well, that what is the difference between evaluation and development. The pure listing of ideas without any expansive detail. Now, this is not expensive. This is EXPAN. Expansive means the something which is expands, which is widespread, was not a successful approach. It means that if you will just lift ideas without developing them, you will not be able to achieve the desired result. The best response is the green area tells that what did the best students, the best answers developed. Such each idea referred to and included some evaluation of those ideas. What did the best students do? They developed each idea and they included some evaluation of those ideas. Not that you start evaluating each and every idea, then you will cross the word limit and your time limit will also exceed. You have to hint upon certain ideas. For example, three you can evaluate in more detail. Development can be achieved by referring to a candidate's own experience of doing the same task or giving suggestion to improve the assigned test. Now you see they have given two suggestions to improve your development, that how can you develop. Number one, you can develop by referring to your own experience, that if for example you are doing this thing, then what will be the result. And in the same way you can give suggestions to improve the assigned task. Lifting of isolated words from the text is acceptable, but it is important to use own words to demonstrate understanding of explicit ideas. You see that some words you can pick, but mostly you should be using own words. There were some good examples of candidates putting the ideas from the text into their own words with the use of synonyms and effective paraphrasing. It means that this is the thing that you are supposed to do, which is in green color. Now, they have very clearly defined evaluation. This is the key slide that you are supposed to understand in order to achieve maximum score in directed writing. What is the success? What is the key to success in directed writing? That whether the students evaluated the ideas or not. What does evaluation mean? It means giving judgment on the validity of the ideas. Validity of the ideas, whether these ideas are valid, whether they are correct, you will give your judgment expressed in the two texts. Then evaluation can be in the form of agreement or disagreement with an idea and a justification. It does not mean that you have to agree every time. You can even disagree. But whatever standpoint you take, you have to justify it. This is the essence of evaluation and this is the essence of success in directed writing. It can take the form of an explanation of why one idea was the most important or a statement of how one idea outweighed another. While the second bullet point demanded for candidates' own views, the first bullet point required an examination of the views expressed in the two texts. Now you see they have given the exact summary of the two bullet points which are included in the directed writing question. The first one is where you have to express the ideas of the text, and the second one you have to give your own views. So don't ignore the two and don't forget to evaluate. So what is the quality of a successful response in directed writing, Cambridge? The most successful response is offered evaluative comment and development throughout. often comparing and contrasting the ideas in the text. They compared and contrasted the ideas, and the strongest among them combined and assimilated ideas effectively. Combined and assimilated are synonyms of each other. Candidates should produce a developed and effective response which combined ideas from the text and showed very good understanding of purpose and clear awareness of the situation, while some produced content which was complex, well organized, and assimilated a wide range of ideas which were thoughtfully and consistently developed and evaluated. Why I have read this is that this is something that is a repetition of what we have talked about previously, that development of the ideas in an organized way is important. Understanding the purpose of the task is an important thing, and you must develop and evaluate your ideas. It's not necessary just to agree. You can even disagree, but you have to justify, you have to give reason for your agreement or for your disagreement. Then you will score the best in the directed writing question. Then they have given us some hints to improve the linguistic analysis of directed writing questions. You know that there are content marks for content, and then there are marks for style and accuracy. So this is style and accuracy. Number one thing is that sentence structure should be varied, and you must include complex sentences. What are complex sentences? Which start with dependent clause. When you say, as I entered the bedroom, comma, this is the dependent phrase. Now you will say something other. I saw a book lying on the study table. You see, this is a complex sentence which I have uttered before you. So you should be writing variety of sentences, and most commonly you should use complex sentences. Formal letter requires formal tone with no informal or slangy expressions. Even exclamation marks, if you are using excessively, they will spoil the tone of your task. So avoid excessive usage of exclamation marks in a formal piece of writing, whether it is a report or it is a letter. Which were errors which were commonly seen in words were these two words, spellings of there and there. TOO2 and single O2, your and you are. So you see, don't miss them. The Cambridge examiners do note even these small mistakes. That is why they have mentioned about them in their report. Appropriate use of idiomatic expressions is acceptable, but overuse reduces coherence and flow of the response. In informal letter, especially even in speech, you can use idiomatic expressions. For example, you can say that reading is not my cup of tea or reading is my cup of tea. But if you will use them excessively, they too will spoil the message and the tone that you want to adopt. Avoid lowercase I when referring to the first person pronoun. You see, when I alone is written, it should be capital, not small. So, my